This leads now. Gang violence in the Western Cape is alarmingly high and urgent interventions are needed to curb the bloodshed. The province's Forensic Pathology Service estimates the death toll could be over 2,000. Police Minister Becky Cele has sent a warning to gang members that authorities will find them and they'll face the full might of the law. Reporter Leanne Jansen is following that story for us, and let's get an update now from her. Leanne, thank you so much for joining us. I feel like the information in that introduction is nothing new to the country, and Police Minister Becky Cele sending a warning to gang members is also not something new. This issue of gang violence shows no signs of abating, and the death toll is rising. Where do we stand?
Hi, Marcel. Yeah, it's nothing new. We've been tracking gang violence for years. I'm currently busy on a package, and I'm looking at visuals as far back as the year 2000. So it is nothing new. What is new though now is the recent spate of gang violence. People are dying at a rapid pace, be they the gangsters themselves or community members caught in the crossfire, and the figures are shocking. Just take a listen to this soundbite from our community safety MEC Albert Fritz.
We're basically in a war zone. If we have to think of the number of people killed for this year, it's just over 2,000. Just the numbers is over 2,000. It's a very, very serious situation.
Now, those numbers are indeed startling. What are authorities saying they're going to do now?
Well, authorities are again calling for a multi-sector approach to tackling gang violence, that police cannot do it on its own, that the community safety department cannot do it on its own. Albert Fritz again also calling on communities to stand with police in trying to combat the scourge of gang violence. Just take a listen to this.
We must stop playing politics around the safety of our people. The need now is to get our safety of our people, stop gangster violence, and we can perhaps not always stop it. I think we can reduce it, but we'll come to that. And I want to just make the point that our community involvement is incredibly important. We also want to ask communities through our neighborhood watches to stop protecting and hiding gangsters.
Now, Leanne, the word or the phrase war zone is often used to describe various parts of Cape Town where gangsterism really does cast a huge and heavy shadow over those areas. It's difficult for people who live there to move around, children especially to move around. How difficult is it then for law enforcement units to move around in these areas?
Well, predominantly in the informal settlements in areas like Samora Machel, where we saw the 5 anti-gang unit members shot at yesterday morning. Those areas are particularly hard to navigate. The shacks are really close to each other. There are no real tarred roads. The lighting is really bad. So what Police Minister Becky Cele had highlighted yesterday is to look at the infrastructure of our areas, particularly townships and informal settlements, so that police can navigate more easily. And also what the minister had said is that criminals know that it's hard for police to navigate these areas, and they capitalize on that issue. And that is how police are being ambushed, and communities are held hostage on the Cape Flats and its surrounding areas. Take a listen to Police Minister Becky Cele's bite.
I did make, maybe in a jocular way, to say, rather than throwing mud at a different level of governments, we'll have to pull our heads together. I can assure you, it will be forever difficult to police under these conditions. Few things that the police must work under. There should be proper streets. There should be proper address, because we don't know where to find you. So we'll have to move around the train, all that kind of thing. And that kind of thing gives the criminals who are more adapted on those conditions a better advantage. There should be proper lighting.
Now, Leanne, before I let you go, you and I both know that normally when there's a spike of this kind in gang activity, we see a spike in bodies piling up. It means there's some kind of power play that's happening in various areas where various gangs have taken hold, depending on what their fields of expertise or what their product is. What are we hearing anything on the streets on what is going on in those areas or those spheres?
Well, it's generally a spike in either the drug trade and turf for gangsters, or, as we're seeing now, edging closer to the June holidays that start tomorrow. Gangs are now starting to recruit youngsters into their gangs. Just 2 weeks ago, we saw a 12-year-old boy in Elsies River being shot in a hail of bullets, about 12 gunshot wounds into his little body because of a gang initiation. So to me, it seems like it's that initiation process that is currently underway, and for that reason we're seeing this spike in gang violence across Cape Town at the moment. But they come in waves. They come in waves every season. So over December we may see a spike in gang violence again, because over the festive season there's another recruiting process. So whether it's the drug turf or whether it is in fact the fact that gangs are now trying to recruit youngsters, we don't know. Police also seem to have their hands up, saying we're trying to tackle this issue, but we need everyone's input in fighting it.
Thank you so much, Leanne Jansen, bringing us the very latest on an ongoing issue in the Western Cape. Thanks so much for that update and your sterling work, as usual, on that topic.